Hi and welcome to Natural Aesthetics. Just to start off, I'd like to say that if you haven't already, then please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave any comment. It all really helps out. So I'm a lifetime natural, never taken any performance enhancing steroids, never taken any pro-hormones. For those of you that don't know what pro-hormones are, essentially they're compounds that you can take that can be converted to a hormone inside the body, whereas an anabolic steroid would be a synthetic version of testosterone that you would take. So prior to 2004, they were used quite a lot in natural bodybuilding because they weren't illegal, they were actually legal. And in 2004, there was a law that was passed that made it more difficult for manufacturers to produce pro-hormones. So they had to go down a different route in terms of creating these compounds. But eventually, by 2013, some of these compounds that they were making and selling were as strong as the ones that they were selling prior to 2004. So there was a second law that was passed in 2014, and that made it a lot more difficult for pro-hormones to be manufactured and distributed. Hefty fines were put in place for any company that was seen even storing pro-hormones in warehouses. So since then, we haven't really seen a resurgence of pro-hormones. It's more going down the route of SARMs now. But of course, as I said, prior to 2004, these were legal, so natural bodybuilders would have used these and been able to have claimed their natural status. And since then, I think guys use this to work around the natural status and claim that they've never taken anabolic steroids, which may be true, but they've more than likely taken pro-hormones, which are different. They're not actually officially an anabolic steroid. Or of course, they're just lying outright, which is often the case, unfortunately. So since 2014, I haven't used any supplementation whatsoever, no BCAAs, creatine, pre-workouts, caffeine. So, it's quite simple, really. I just have to focus on training, food, and recovery. And of course, recovery entails lots of different factors. One of the main reasons for that was that in 2014, I had a bout of nerve inflammation that I'm convinced was as a result of a pre-workout that I took. That was extremely difficult to recover from. I was in hospital for a week, and even now I still suffer with the side effects of that in terms of the sensitivity of my skin. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about the training or diet aspects of being a natural bodybuilder, but I'm going to talk about the mental aspects, the psychological attributes that you need to achieve the physique you want or achieve the fitness goal that you're training towards. So over the years of training myself and training a number of clients, I've noticed that there's a very obvious correlation between the type of motivation that a trainee possesses and the length of time that they're able to consistently train for. Someone who is generally extrinsically motivated is more likely, in my opinion, to suffer from training consistency issues. So someone who is extrinsically motivated, for example, may want to train because they want to look good in a nightclub in a t-shirt to attract the attention of a female. The problem is that the behaviours that have changed as a result of this extrinsic motivation will often cease if that extrinsic motivation is taken away. So for example, a guy starts training before a holiday, starts maybe a program 8 weeks away from the holiday for the purpose of looking good on a beach, and then after that holiday, they may have difficulties maintaining their training because that goal has been taken away. In my opinion, extrinsically motivated trainees will be more likely to utilise steroids, which leads to further consistency issues because they become reliant on the steroids to train, and without them, they may feel that training has no point because they're not as strong or as big as they were before. They may feel anxious or inadequate, actually not go to the gym because they look differently to how they looked once they were on the steroids. And I've seen this so many times, countless times, it becomes a vicious cycle. Now, on the other hand, intrinsically motivated trainees tend to have a higher chance of training for longer periods of time. So an example of an intrinsically motivated trainee will be someone that just enjoys training, enjoy going to the gym and doing the exercises, or someone that enjoys the pursuit of skill mastery or physique mastery. Now, people that are intrinsically motivated, the research shows, and in my opinion as well from what I've seen, it poses the greatest potential for exercise adherence. So really you have to learn to love it. It's important to understand that a trainee can be both extrinsically and intrinsically motivated for a specific task. you know, myself included. I am intrinsically motivated in that I enjoy training, and I enjoy the pursuit of skill, exercise mastery, physique mastery for myself, regardless of what other people think. You know, this inspires me. But when I compete, I also want to pick up that trophy. I want to, you know, impress my peers. So it's both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Now, in terms of natural bodybuilding, natural strength progression, or in general just fitness goals, you have to understand that patience is an absolutely vital attribute. You more than likely will not be able to achieve the goals that you have without patience, especially for natural bodybuilding, being that it's such a slow process to build muscle mass. So for myself, patient with my training, I understand that it's going to take years and years and years to achieve the physique that I want to, and I'm happy with that. I don't mind that. That almost motivates me more than if it was quicker. That's why I've chosen the natural path. So patience is obviously vital, and understanding that it's much easier to lose strength or fitness or muscle mass than it is to gain it. And keep that in mind, and that will help you to maintain your training protocol on a consistent basis over long periods of time. Setting goals is also very, very important, both long-term and short-term goals. So for myself, an example of a long-term goal would be to compete in a competition next year and look better than I did in my last competition, to pick up a trophy and do well, if not win that competition. That's the ultimate goal. You know, very long-term would be to win a British title, to be considered one of the best bodybuilders, natural bodybuilders in the UK. The short-term goal would be to make sure that I'm training every day in the gym, sticking to my protocol, doing the reps and sets that I need on a daily basis, you know, adhering to the 6-week training protocol that I've set myself, because without adherence to the short-term goal, the long-term goal is impossible. So the relationship between the two are very, very important. And whatever you're training for, whether it's competing, or whether it's to be healthier, or just fit, or you just want a six-pack, or you want to deadlift 250 kilos, you need short-term and long-term goals. And even if your goals are completely extrinsically motivated, you want to get that nice physique for the beach holiday for the women, or you want to you know, impress your mates at work by your size, then you have to understand that you know, once that's accomplished, you need another goal. Otherwise, the motivation disappears. So it's just this continual process. And if you're able to understand that and apply it to your training, then it becomes much easier to be consistent for longer periods of time. So I'll give you an example of a timeline of goals that I've had over the past few months. So the last quarter of 2019, I wanted to military press more weight than I'd ever done before. So I set the target of a 90k military press before the 1st of January 2020. So I set the protocol, did the work that was required of me on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and sure enough, on New Year's Eve 2019, I military pressed 90 kilos, so goal accomplished. But I didn't rest there. I then set another goal in the gym to improve my squat, because I hadn't been squatting as much during the shoulder assault, to do more of a balanced hypertrophy program, work on some of the other areas that had perhaps weakened during the shoulder program. And then once the lockdown started, I set another goal, simply to train every day, be it a run or some chin-ups or some press-ups, just to train every single day. And another goal I had during this time period was to complete the 250-pound hand gripper, which I've been working to and am very close to achieving now. And you have to understand that each of these short-term goals, as different as they might be, all help me to achieve my long-term goal. So I think that's pretty much it. If you found the video interesting or enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more natural bodybuilding content. Any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Email naturalasthetic@outlook.com for more info on online training at very affordable prices. Stay strong.